I just don't know how to control all these kids. Well, have you heard of Erickson, Piaget, or Piles, or developmentally appropriate practice? Huh? Where did you come from? And what are those? Let me show you. Let's start with some theorists. Since you're a preschool teacher, we'll start with Erik Erikson, his awesome name, and what he thinks of preschool development. Erikson believes in initiative versus guilt, which basically means that kiddos are testing their boundaries and seeing what's gonna fly with their friends. Well, you should tell that to Ronnie. He's always starting fights. Well, Ronnie is soon going to learn from his peers that starting fights may make his friends not want to play with him anymore. But as teachers, it's up to us to show him how to play nice and make up with his friends. Well, but how are they supposed to learn? All they want to do is play pretend games. Well, that actually brings me to my next point. Our next theorist, John Piaget, and his theory of constructivism. It's a big word that helps explain the pre-operational stage of development, which is also a very big word. But what it does is it shows preschoolers how to use symbolism to represent their learning. For instance, Johnny just learned that insects have 6 legs, so he's using his new knowledge to devise a 6-legged monster that will destroy the town. But the information is still taking hold. He's still learning something. Okay, but how can we prove that they're actually learning something? Let's talk about PILES, shall we? PILE stands for physical, intellectual, language, emotional, and social. Each of these have an important place in the classroom. Okay, but how? All we're doing is playing with plastic containers in a water tub. Sure, but physically, the students are gaining a feel for water and how it moves. Intellectually, they're thinking about how some items sink and others tend to float. With language, they're practicing the names of the items they're using, such as colanders and strainers. Emotionally, they're using their pretend play in the water to make it work for themselves and keep interested. And socially, they're going to need to learn how to share the tub or there's going to be consequences. Huh, I never thought of it that way. But if they're having so much fun, why are they always telling me that they're bored? You ever heard of DAP? DAP? Developmentally appropriate practice. Basically, the goal in each classroom is to provide activities that challenges your kids without making them too frustrated. Each child works at a different rate, so if you see one student flying by and finishing everything with ease, maybe give them something more difficult to do, so they don't end up bored. It's also important to let other students work at their own pace, though, or they may end up feeling like they're being left behind. Well, that does seem to make a little sense. Awesome! Now that I've given you a little taste on how to spice up your classroom, go forth and show your kiddies a good educational time. Thanks, strange young preschool teacher. I wouldn't think you'd be so knowledgeable, what with your childlike face and brightly colored hair. Thanks, I guess. Just practice what I told you. Will do.